G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Boy oh boy, hasn't it been some time. I tell you what, it's been a while. It has been an absolute, well, it's been a couple of weeks. I think that's probably it. But anyway, we're back. We are in business and we're hopefully going to be bringing you a lot more Age of Empires 4 content in the next coming months, weeks, years, potentially. Anyway, let's get into it. We got ourselves an absolute top of the table battle here, spawning on the west side of the map in the color purple, playing as the Byzantines, representing Team Elephant, coming off a tournament win. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Louis MT. And on the east side of the map in the color yellow, playing as the Chinese, it's Beastie. I was going to try and pronounce this, but look, I'm not too good with my binary. I'm just kidding. Binary is ones and zeros. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Welcome. It's been a while, so just to give you a little bit of an update, I was planning on recording today, and coincidentally, my wife said to me, "Hey, so my dad just sent a message and he's like, yo, what's going on with Drongo? Is he all right? He's not posting any content." So anyway, I knew that, like, okay, maybe it's been a while if my father-in-law is messaging and being like, yo, where's the content at? That we probably needed to give you guys a post, give you guys an update, because it's been a while. So anyway, first and foremost, shout out to father-in-law. I'd love you guys to shout out to Popper down in the comments below. Let him know that his voice has been heard. And am I being peer pressured by my father-in-law to post content to you? No, I'm not really. No, I've been working on some other projects at the moment, and I think it's just like the autism. I don't know if you guys have got this as well, but it's like I can only focus on one thing at a time. I'm terrible for it, but it's just like it frustrates me because I know that there's all these things that I need to do, and they only take me a little bit of time. And if I just sat down and did them, that'd be done. But I have to get the big task and knock that one out first before I can do anything else. Anyway, look. It's all done now, so we can focus. We got ourselves a fun matchup today. Chinese, Byzantines, two civilizations that I'm both intimately familiar with, have mained at previous points through history. The Chinese, of course, one very close to my heart. I love this civilization. Just the macro bonus that you've got for this civ is just unparalleled by any other civilization. And now we see Beastie with the Imperial Academy in the back of the base. Going to be throwing it down. All the sheep coming through. He's got quite a nice haul of sheep here. 11 sheep so far today. Finds a 12th one in the back of the base. So he's having himself quite a field day here. 3 vills on the age up, as is standard. This was, of course, pioneered by Puppy Paw, who decided, hey, maybe it's a good idea if we don't go for an Imperial official really early and instead go for an Imperial official after we age up and then just age up really early. And that's a pretty smart move. Now, take a look at the... Oh, my God. Oh, Louis MT going with what might be the most disgusting grand winery you have seen this side of the new year. I remember there was a map that had like 7 berry spawns on it per player. I don't think, I'm not sure if it was ever a 1v1 map. I remember playing it in FFA, and it had like the water in the middle and the berries on either side, and you could get some ridiculous grand wineries. I almost said grand rhino. Sorry. I'm channeling my son. He still has a little bit of an issue with the pronunciation of the R and the W, but anyway, we got the Imperial Academy coming up, but boy, oh boy, things are going to get disgusting for the Byzantines, that is for sure. We're about to have a Byzantine day. So, of course, you know, I've been tuned out of Age of Empires 4 for a while, so naturally I had to, you know, jump on Reddit, go check through the Liquipedia and all that stuff, and I was surprised to see the most recent tournaments. 16 sheep here for Louis, so he's doing quite well, but definitely surprised to see the recent tournaments and Louis' success. Obviously, he's been climbing the ranks for quite some time, especially with regard to the ladder. He's been #1 for a while, but converting that over to tournament success has been... well, it's been difficult for him, but he finally does it. I'm going to have to go back and watch the series between him and Marine Lord. I've obviously spoiled it for you guys by now, but I mean, it was like 10 days ago at this point. So if you can't really claim spoilers, right? Like if I told you what happened at the end of Lord of the Rings, I was going to say Lord of the Rings. No, not Lord. What's the one? The Game of Thrones. If I told you what happened in Game of Thrones, like, you're not going to be getting up me for spoilers. Joffrey dies. Because it was so long ago. Anyway. Age up coming through, immediately Mercenary House placed down, and take a look at the positioning here. Gets the trade post in the base with the Zhukunu. So we could have ourselves a little Zhukunu on Zhukunu battle potentially today. We do have professional scouts coming through for Beastie, of course, going to be playing as the Chinese. It makes sense for him to do this because not only does he research professional scouts faster. He also gets the rebate from the tax, and it's doubled by the Imperial Academy, and he brings back the deer, and then he gets the 20% on the deer. He keeps everything underneath the town center. It's such a smart move to be going professional scouts here, despite it costing so much more. You know, compare that over to the Byzantines, and it's unlikely that you see it coming out here. Just that huge cost, 450 resources. When you think about it, that's a ridiculous amount of resources to be investing in an early technology, but it just guarantees that you're going to have so many deer safely under that town center. And keep in mind, on a map like this, when there's just so much deer to take, it only makes even more sense. So we'll ride on board with him as he looks to build that scout number. He's up to 3 now, adds a 4th one into the queue. And have a look what we've got on the side of Louis MT, though. The scout has been spotted. He snipes away a couple of those sheep, says thank you very much. To be honest, though, I don't think Beastie's... No, is he giving him the sheep? Oh, what? How well-mannered is that? He says, hey, those were your sheep. I'll let you have them. Ain't no way. Either that or he just said, no, there's no two ways about it. He's being a sweetheart right there. Beastie takes the sheep. We are witnessing something beautiful here today. These two, they're not just competitors. They are friends. That is for sure. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that. You know, I will say it right now. I've seen it in Age of Empires 2. I remember watching a game of Doubt. You'll know Doubt, big guy. Yeah, you guys all know Doubt, big guy. And he was playing Age of Empires 2, and he found his opponent's sheep. And instead of taking them, which is called apparently laming, they say laming, instead of laming the sheep, he gave the sheep to his opponent. I was like, that's kind of weird. Because for me, I would have just, like, ain't no way, bro. Those are mine. But we do indeed see those Zhukunu out. Beastie also looking to pick up Imperial examinations here. But a little bit of a Zhukunu mirror, potentially. We've got the Byzantines beginning to build up their lovely system here. Now, Lament and I together with the Zhukunu spotting out these scouts. A single sheep behind might be coming in to try and pick them off. You can see him clicking on that last scout. The upgrades come through. Hardened Lament and I is through. But this is where it could be troublesome for Beastie. Villager number 1 goes down. And now the horseman comes through. You can see an archer out as well. So he's got quite a few archers in the pocket. 7 archers. Undoubtedly been supervising them out. It's quite a bit of beautiful micro, bringing back the low health archers towards the edge. And kites, absolutely amazingly. Louis manages to get a Vil, but at the end of the day, the Chinese are still going to be far ahead. Really well played here so far by these two players. Beastie just with the perfect response, but now more Zhukunu coming out. This could be the critical number he needs to get that one shot. +1 coming through as well for Louis at this stage. So he'll be looking to move up to up to 5 attack here. Of course, with the Zhukunu, that's going to be multiplied by 3 because you've got those 3 shots. Racks at the back here. Beautiful economy, just the 3 Vils on stone, and now towards that front. Archer number starting to look a little bit more healthy. Keep in mind, Beastie not yet in the Song Dynasty, therefore unable to get those Zhukunu out. But remember, the longer the game goes, the better the Zhukunu get in mass against these archers. So Beastie will inevitably want to switch, though whether or not he goes into Song Dynasty will be a different matter. When you think about Song Dynasty, normally it's about where you want to put that Barbican down. You'll have to find a good spot, and you can see this is not the fight he wants to be taking. No upgrades coming through just yet for these archers. Keep that in mind, so you're really fighting against a stack field. +1 also coming through. I think, realistically, if you're thinking Barbican, you could be going for, like, the stone here, but I'd be more tempted to think gold. This is only a small gold, though, so... You know, there's a part of me that thinks maybe you could go out towards the middle, but it's really just going to attract an opponent who wants to get aggressive, maybe set up for siege, but we do hear that Barbican coming down. He's going to play it safe towards the home, towards the middle, or not towards the middle, rather. Zhukunu going to spot this out. He will see some villagers, so he could look to try and pick them off here. Beastie needs to buy time, and that's exactly what this will allow him to do. He's got plenty of gold left on this gold vein, so as long as the landmark gets up, he should be okay to hold here. Numbers not looking particularly good. More archers joining in. Barbican up. He's going to have to back out off this, and looks to now move down towards the south side. Archers able to pick off a little bit of health on those Lament and I. But this will allow Beastie to hold for a bit longer, allows him to unlock the Zhukunu, and now he can fight on even terms. Now, keep in mind, while it technically is even terms, it's not, because the Chinese can make their Zhukunu, whereas the mercenary house is where you'll get them from as the Byzantines. So eventually, the Zhukunu will outnumber the Byzantines Zhukunu. Sorry, the Chinese Zhukunu will outnumber. There's a lot of Zhukunus going on right here, so yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. you would expect that Beastie very quickly gets a larger number. So I would suspect Louis knows this, and he wouldn't want to mess around and play around with this. So we're probably going to see him go Castle Age here. He's moved Vils over, 10 Vils on gold now. So almost certainly going to be seeing those Castle Ages coming through shortly. Keep in mind that once he gets Castle Age, you can also look to get even more Jugunu out. But they do fall off in power once you reach Castle Age. It's quite funny because then if you had to rate them out of 5, you'd say in Feudal Age they're 5 out of 5. In Castle Age they're probably like a 3 out of 5. And then in Imperial they're back up to 5 out of 5. They get really strong in Imperial because they've got so many different upgrades that you can get and stack them all on top of each other and really start to build up that damage. But now the archers moving towards the north, able to pick off a villager. So it's a 1-to-1 mix at the moment. Also got the wolf getting involved. Always something you got to be careful of. And Beastie now splitting up the troops. Louis MT heading towards the top. He knows there's a Vil up here. He just doesn't know how many Vils are there. Might lose a scout. There goes down one. Second one could potentially be en route. There it goes. He drops all of the deer, says, you know what, this venison, it can wait a little bit longer. Another range in the backside. Beastie going to be transitioning, I suspect, quite heavily into crossbowmen, potentially, in that Castle Age. Has not gone into a single Jukunu at this stage of the game. +1s did come through for him, so they're even on the upgrades. And there's that Vil. He did see the one Vil, and so it's just going to be the single Vil. Clock Tower now coming down. Beautiful little spot for him as well. Golden Horn Tower on the other side. Within seconds of each other, they put it down. Keep in mind, the Chinese do have that building advantage, or that construction speed advantage is probably a better way to say it. So we'll come up a lot faster in this Castle Age. Chinese Castle Age, notoriously strong. The Barbican going to allow you protection to get there into that Castle Age. And then once you're there, you've of course got those nest of bees that you can really look to leverage. But now moving back around, I think ideally for Beastie, one of the best things that you could do in a situation like this is use these archers to somehow annoy the opponent in any way possible. Maybe keep their army on their side of the map. It's rare that you're going to be playing into veteran archers in the Castle Age, but one thing that's interesting is Beastie continues to add in more archers. Lance is going to be coming through as well. Does he look for veterancy on archers? He does. This is the weirdest Chinese build I've seen in a while. I'll say that. That is for sure. It is very rare that you see the Chinese going for archers, especially veteran archers. That's right on board on the other side of the map, though, because the Grand Winery, it's been doing Byzantine things. He's obviously had plenty of olive oil coming through Louis MT. But towards that top side, it's got level 5 cistern now coming through. And the age up for the Golden Horn Tower is now through. Byzantines happily in the Castle Age. You're looking for his upgrades. There we go now. Mercenary contracts coming through. More Jukunu continuing to pump out. Expect to see clock towers coming soon as well. You can see he's got the rally point towards the army. And now, the Lancer number's starting to build. Do we see that monastery down just yet? There it is. It's already down. He's got the monks in queue. He's already got one out. He's been supervising. Ain't no way. Yeah, he's supervising like a madman. You can see him. He's a little bit population blocked for a second, but gets off the village. Now that second monk's coming out. Third monk going to be coming out shortly. Now keep in mind on the other side, we've got the Grand Winery that's going to be acting as your monastery. And it's going to be allowing you to get those monks out and about. If we take a look at the relic spread, it's all down towards the south side. There's only 4 on the map at the moment because Beastie's got 1 in their hand. It's not here. It's not there. It's not here. There it is. So that one's on the way back. All the rest of the 4 down towards that south side. So definitely a lot of potential right here for fights to involve. I don't know what I was trying to say. There's a lot of potential for fights to happen when it comes to these relics. A great key motivator for fights. And I think that's one of the great things about Age of Empires 4 is that you do have these pivotal moments like this where it really encourages and says, hey, you should fight me. You have to fight me. You definitely need to fight me. Maybe that's a good idea for like sacred sites. Maybe they could make the gold ramp up a little bit more. I feel like sacred sites should really be an important point of contention. And if your enemy's got one, you should do everything that you can to deny it from them. But maybe if you make it too strong, cataphract, if you make it too strong, then you just incentivize like defenses on it and people just playing heavily around them. The good thing about relics is like you can move them. And once they've been moved and once they're safe, well, we got ourselves some more elephants out. It's been a while. The trade post is starting to pump. You could see how fast he was going. He was trying to go as hard as he could. Beastie now picking up another relic. So he's picked up quite a few this game. He's up to 3. 4th one in the middle. Gonna get that last monk taken out. And down towards the south side, Lancers are able to find another villager kill. He's taken out 5 this game so far. Gets caught amongst the cataphracts, and you can see they don't have that charge, but they still run just as fast. More Lancers towards the north. Beastie doing a wonderful job of controlling this game, forcing that army to stay on his own side of the map for Louis MT. Louis, of course, he's got units out and about. The Zhuge-Nu veterancy has come through. He's looking for +2. Not a whole lot of damage on these Lancers. You can see they've got their +2 ranged armor already. And because of that, it means that they're just tanky as all hell. Nesta B in the back. Was that what it was? Indeed it was. He's got the heals coming out as well. Another relic towards the south. Monk going to pick it up. Excuse me for a minute. That was the wrong button. Let's try this one. Okay, there we go. That's how long it's been since I've casted. I can't remember what my buttons do. I accidentally muted the game audio. I don't know if I muted it for you guys, but I'm assuming I did. Because when I mute my voice, I mute it for you guys. I had to clear up my throat. By the way, drink of the day, Red Bull. Actually, I just spilt my Red Bull, unfortunately. That's the first time I've spilt it in a long time. But you know what they say, no crying over spilt Red Bull. Anyway, so we're doing well. We're doing happy. We're comfy. We got our Red Bull. We're sitting down today. I just posted a Civilization video. They had a new patch over there. So I said, you know what? It's about that time. So we're going to do it. So I think we're going to be bringing back Civ content as well as Age of Empires 4 content. At least for the immediate future. So I'm excited about that. The prospect of playing a little bit more games definitely makes me happy. But now towards this center of the map, the Lancers caught out. There's quite a bit of military here building up for Louis MT. He's got a decent sized army. A lot of ranged units here on the side of Beastie though. Almost 40 ranged units, double Nesta B as well. He's got plenty to insulate from these cavalry, but keep in mind they've got a special trick up their sleeve. Beautiful knob shots there, straight into the center of the Zhuge-Nus. Louis wasn't paying attention, and now let's see if those cataphracts get the charge in. Indeed they do, straight onto the back line. Say, how you doing? Don't mind if I grab myself a free Nesta B. Good luck about getting that second one. Crossbows working their magic in on this as well. Nesta B still firing off, and you can see just how well those Zhuge-Nu do up against it. A little bit of red on red, green on green, green on blue action there. As once again, the ranged units hold strong, and you can see just how powerful they are. Now running through, that war elephant's going to go down quickly. Another Lancer towards the front, and the Zhuge-Nu really starting to struggle. Keep in mind, as I said, the Zhuge-Nu is great in early Feudal, or even mid and late Feudal. It's amazing. It's great in Imperial Age, but when it comes to Castle Age, it just has trouble cutting through the mustard. And yeah, you can see it definitely reflecting here with Louis MT. There is definitely a timing that you can go for with the Zhuge-Nu. So, especially as the Chinese, because you can supervise your upgrades. So the timing is basically like, if you've got 40 to 50 Zhuge-Nu, you can very quickly age up and then get your +2 upgrade and your veterancy upgrade. And then look to attack with your units then. Because if you can beat your opponent to like their +2 upgrade or their veterancy upgrade as well, and force a fight under those circumstances, you just will melt their army. Won't even be close. So that's a really nice timing. But once your enemy's got those upgrades, so here we can see Beastie's got that +2 upgrade in, it becomes a lot more difficult to fight with the Zhuge-Nu. And naturally we could see Louis MT really losing out when it came to this battle here. Beastie was easily able to control this one in the end. We'll check in with Louis though and see what the plan is here, because we're 18 minutes into this game and he's got a number of options on the table. I think the biggest one is a second TC. You could go for that. Actually, I take it back. The second TC is probably not the biggest one. The biggest one's just going Imp. To go Imp, he's going to need to secure gold. He's got gold towards the north, but it's definitely not secure. Maybe a keep in the center could definitely go a long way. A keep here, and then take the gold. And then you could look for Imp off the keep. Because the biggest thing that you're going to have is if you're going Imp, your enemy potentially pushes you. And if they potentially push you, you might die. So the keep prevents that from happening. So it's a bit of a two at the same time. The other thing is that when you throw that keep down, your enemy's now going to make a response to this keep. Now, Beastie's already got the Siege Workshop in the form of the Astronomical Clock Tower. So he doesn't have to drop that Siege Workshop down, but he's still going to have to make Trebs or Rams, and he's still going to have to get them to the target. But we can now see in the middle of the map, it's actually Beastie who's going to be going for the central mining camp. Instead, moving towards the north. Where have we got him going? He's going down to the south instead, Louis MT. Looking to move towards the south. So still no gold collected at this stage. Let's switch it over to income per minute. Sorry for smashing the microphone there for you guys. Both sacred sites are taken. He's got 2 relics, so it's a 2-3 relic split. Not terrible on the gold front. But we do note that both of these relics are in the Grand Winery, so there's not going to be any gold coming through from those. But now, towards the center of the map. Is Beastie still making archers? Yeah, there's no way he's still making archers. He's making crossbows. 29 crossbows, 14 archers. Outpost going up in the middle. Does Beastie see this? He does. He's got a scout nearby, so that'll be easy for him to take care of. And now Lamet and I are going to be moving up towards the center. Ville's potentially going to go down. Outpost gets cancelled, and then he goes, oh my lord, there's a huge army here. All right, we're going to have to fight. A little bit late into position. Beastie with the 4 Nesta Bs. I don't think you can contest that. I don't think he can contest that. And it's going to be Beastie that throws down the keep in the middle. This is where it gets difficult for Louis because Beastie's got the military advantage. Now he's got the defensive advantage, which means he can start to be a little bit more flexible from this. He can start to push and prod your army. And if you think you can ever go him, just remember, he's got that keep ready to start laying siege to any of your units that dare enter into that domain. Louis quite behind on the score as well. Beastie up 20 vills at this stage, and that's a combination of losing vills on the side of Louis as well as Song Dynasty just doing its work over on the other side of the Chinese. We're right on board with Beastie now as he prepares to defend against a raid. A couple of horsemen in here together with the scout. You can see they're not as quick as they should be because the scout is paired up with them. Up towards the north, the Lancer hits. On the south, we can see the monk standing by. Beastie now with a wall down the south side of his base. Also looking to drop a couple of Raxes. Still a couple of things he could... I would have deleted these lumber camps. I mean, they've probably got tax in them, so maybe you don't want to. No, you could delete these and then throw those Raxes down. I always like to try and min-max the taxation. But you got to remember that there's not always the APM in these top-level games. Even for these top-level players, right? You got to appreciate the fact that just because they've got super high APM doesn't mean that that's a high-impact action. Deleting these lumber camps and then getting those Raxes within the radius of the Imperial Academy. I think that's like one of the key components of playing the Chinese that I really like to stress is like the best practices for base building. But have a look at this. He's got attacks happening everywhere. And indeed, the age up is coming through on the side of Louis MT. It's going to be the foreign engineering company that he goes with here. So looking to produce his own nest of bees. He's really trying to mimic the Chinese here. He's taken the Jusi legacy, or the Jusi legacy's Zhukuner, or the Chinese Zhukuner, and now he's taking the nest of bee towards that top side. Nice little bait here. Does lose a Lancer. Vil going to come in, look to repair. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Beastie's on the lookout. He will spot that Imperial Age transition, and now Beastie's got to make a decision. Do I double down in Castle Age, or do I try and go Imp myself? If he goes Imp, it's going to be a hard ask, but it's definitely possible with the Chinese. If you double down, though, you're really taking advantage of the Nest of Bee. The Nest of Bees is the strongest it's going to be right now in comparison to all the other units on the field, right? It only loses its strength the longer the game goes on because the Mangonel is just such a superior unit. By the way, is that a big flower on the front that I've never seen before? What was that? How come I've never noticed the flower on the front of the war elephant? Or have I just never seen it? I must be. I don't think I've ever paid attention to the fact that there's a flower on the front of these war elephants. That's a big flower as well. That can't be real. That's gotta be. That's not a real flower, guys. Flowers don't grow that big. Cannon now coming out though, looking at provide a little bit of a response to the nest of bees that he inevitably knows will be there. I'm just going to take a quick swig of my drink. Give me a second here. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Red Bull. Still need one of those though. Morville's going to be going down. Beastie really controlling well. And now the archer number begins to build. Now keep in mind, elite upgrades not yet through here. Veteran horseman, veteran Jukunu. He's only got the royal cannon that's out. War elephants as well. No upgrades from those mercenary contracts just yet. Cannon comes through, gets the shot off. Second shot not going to do it. He's going to need a third one for this. Up towards the north, Vil's going to get taken out slowly but steadily. Royal cannon, he's trying to find the connection. So ideally, in this situation, you want to go up to 3 royal cannons because that's all you need to one-shot it. Look at this, Louis MT. The second time today, potentially making a mistake. He did get the pick off. The Vils were repairing, but he's able to get it back in time. And look at the number of units here for Beastie. Beastie really looking to try and finish this one off. He says, I think I've got the numbers. He's doubled down. You can see he's up to 200 population here. Looks to commit as hard as he can. Spears towards the front. He's going to need to pull him back if he wants to defend the knobs. All the knobs, they're all firing, but they're misfiring. And now all the range units able to stand on top and prevent anything from hitting on top of this. He needs cataphracts to charge in. Horsemen have moved down to the south. A couple of spears going to be able to find them, but not sure what the play is. Meanwhile, more reinforcements. Look at the number of spears he's got here. And now the elephants, together with the remaining Chukunu, are able to deal with the majority of this army, and you can see he's down to 3 nest of bees now. But the numbers looking very good, very healthy for Beastie. All spears and crossbow. He's transitioned 100% into spearman crossbow, one of the deadliest combos in the game. And what's the best way to complement it? Mangonels or Nesta Bees together. He really looks to double down in this Castle Age as much as he can. Adding in another Nesta Bee, 12 spears on the way. Plenty more reinforcements coming through. His opponent looking to spam out some Keshiks now. But unfortunately, it feels like it might be too little too late. Beastie's done a really good job in recognizing, hey, my opponent went Imperial. There's a really good window here where they're going to be weak. And he looks to challenge it, even though it looked a little bit scary. And that is indeed going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. The game is finished. Beastie taking victory here over Louis MT. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can catch these guys both live. One on Twitch, one on Billy. So make sure you go say good day from me. And of course, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you shout out Popper.